Welcome to Workday Adaptive Planning Cube Sheets. In this session, we'll explore how to work with cube sheets in adaptive planning, including how to access sheets and enter data, change dimensions, swap columns and rows, and add rows. Sheets are where you view, enter, and update data in your plan. There are three types of sheets in adaptive planning: standard, modeled, and cube. Each sheet is unique in terms of navigation and functionality. Cube sheets are best suited to plan information that's multidimensional, such as revenue by location or product, sales forecasting, and operational metrics. Your security permissions and access rules determine which sheets are available to you and what data you can view and edit. You can navigate to sheets from the Top Apps card on your welcome page or from the global navigation menu. This takes you to the Sheets Overview page, which lists the sheets you can access for the selected version and level. If a particular sheet isn't listed, change the selected level and version intersection using the menus on the top right. You can also use the search field to find specific sheets. Data entry on cube sheets is similar to standard sheets, except cube sheets can display intersections of multiple dimensions. Cube sheets always include time, levels, and accounts. They can also display standard, calculated, assumption, and metric accounts. Additionally, they can have different types of dimensions and dimension attributes, which are model-specific and allow you to pivot and filter the data. There's a limit of 10 dimensions on each cube sheet. To enter data, you must be at the lowest value of all sheet elements, including level, account, time, and dimensions if applicable. If there are attributes on the sheet, data entry is still possible whether you've selected an attribute rollup or a specific value. For example, this product revenue cube sheet displays accounts in the first column. The filters above represent levels, 2 dimensions, customer and product, and 2 product dimension attributes, size and color. The cells with a white background are editable at the intersection of the Sales North level, Great Eastern Shipping Customer, and A4 product in size small and color blue. The Cube Sheet toolbar is similar to the Standard Sheet toolbar, except for 2 unique options: change dimensions and swap columns and rows. The columns and rows on a cube sheet aren't fixed. You can select the Change Dimensions icon to change the column element and to stack additional elements onto the rows. Changing dimensions also lets you change multiple elements at once. For example, adding product and customer below account will stack all product values below each account and all customer values below each product value. The Filters section of the Change Dimensions window lets you quickly navigate to a specific intersection by changing multiple elements at once. If you try to navigate to multiple element values without using this option, you'll have to wait for the sheet to refresh after you select each element. Therefore, it's always faster to use this option when navigating to different element values. Notice the sheet now displays sales details based on account, then product, and then customer. The other unique toolbar option, Swap Columns and Rows, switches the position of the horizontal and vertical elements. Since the column can only display one element at a time, the most hierarchical element on the vertical axis moves to the horizontal axis. For example, on the Product Revenue cube sheet, this swap moves the time element to the rows and the accounts element to the columns. You could also drag and drop additional elements to the vertical axis, such as levels. To reset the sheet to its initial design, select the Reset to Default View icon on the toolbar. Another toolbar option lets you add specific rows to a cube sheet for data entry. This is helpful on large cube sheets where you've selected the display option to suppress rows if all zeros or blank. To use this feature, you must be at an editable intersection of data. For example, suppose you have a cube sheet with levels and products on the y-axis and accounts as a filter. The sheet has several thousand rows when zero and blank rows aren't suppressed. To display only rows with data, you'd select Display Options on the toolbar and then select the checkbox Suppress Rows if all zeros or blank. Now the sheet only displays the rows that contain data. Suppose you need to add production details for a specific level and product. To enter data into the empty row, you can select the Add Row icon instead of unsuppressing rows. Any elements that display on the y-axis will be available as selection options. In this example, levels and product. After you select the desired elements, the sheet displays the empty row, even though it doesn't contain any data. Now you can enter data to that intersection. This option gives you the flexibility to add data to previously zero or blank intersections, without the need to unsuppress and display potentially thousands of additional blank rows. In this session, we've reviewed how to enter data on cube sheets, as well as how to change dimensions, swap columns and rows, and add rows. Thank you for taking the time to learn with Workday.